What's up vegan adventurers, welcome to another vlog from Argentina, and today is our first hike in El Chalten, and we're gonna do a viewpoint or Mirador de los Condores and Mirador las Aguilas. Because this hike takes only a few hours, we're waiting until 3:30 in the afternoon to get out, because there are clouds over the mountains the whole day. We didn't see Fitzroy or Cerro Torre today, but we're hoping it would clear up in the afternoon. So it's interesting how here in El Chalten is perfectly sunny weather, but up there in the mountains it's all cloudy. So to get to the beginning of this hike, you have to go to the National Park Visitor Center where the bus dropped us yesterday, and to get there you have to cross the river Fitzroy following the main road. Apart from this path that goes to Mirador de los Condores and Mirador de las Aguilas, you can also go to another hike that goes to the hill called Loma del Pliegue Tumbado. I don't know who came up with such a name, I can never remember this. But anyway, this hike takes all day and we're gonna go there later this week. There's actually another hike starting from here, a very interesting hike to Laguna Toro, which is a long distance hike, takes about 3 days, and you need to register for it here in the visitor center. And I think you even need some special equipment for this hike. I think there is a passage where you have to zip line across the river and you need equipment for that, and maybe even some equipment for walking on ice, because I think it's traversing some ice fields. And this hike is a loop, so it comes back another way somewhere near Lago Viedma. So this hike is definitely on my things to do list, and I will definitely want to do it in the future. So when you compare the views from yesterday and today, yesterday we saw everything, Cerro Fitzroy, Cerro Torre, and today we don't see anything. And actually we're not gonna see Cerro Torre for the whole week we're gonna be here. So the weather like this is actually pretty common here in Patagonia because of the influence from Pacific. So there's a big chance you won't even see Fitzroy for a few days that you're here. So this creature is called armadillo, and we actually saw one before in South America in Mindo, Ecuador, and this kind is called big hairy armadillo. It is one of the largest and most numerous armadillos in South America. It lives from sea level to altitudes of up to 1,300 meters across the southern portion of South America, especially Argentina, and can be found on grasslands, forests and savannas, and has even started claiming agricultural areas as its home. It is an accomplished digger and spends most of its time below ground. It makes both temporary and long-term burrows depending on its food source. Armadillos are protected from predators by a series of thin bony plates along the head and back. They have been known to live over 30 years in captivity. So now we came across the barbed wire fence once again, and again I'm not sure if it's to keep the wild animals inside of this area, but as I'm reading online, the scientists agree that this is really not a good way to protect the wild animals. So here we got to this crossroad, and on the right you keep going to the hill called Loma del Pliegue Tumbado, which is the whole all-day hike, and also to the Laguna Toro, which takes like say 4 or 5 days to make the whole loop. And on the left we keep going to Mirador de los Condores and Mirador de las Aguilas. So now we're gonna go up between the mountains and then go to this Mirador. I think it's up there. I think it's just up here. Yeah. So it takes 30 minutes, 1 kilometer, 100 meters elevation. So here are some information tables about condors, and this table says that condors only eat dead animals like carcasses, and they don't hunt. here it says that condors only have one egg per 2 years, so that's why there are not so many of them. Condors are one of the largest birds in the world, and it says you should be able to see condors in this area, but I think these days there are too many people for them to fly around here. So here's a crossroad. On the left you go to Mirador de los Condores, 10 minutes, and on the right Mirador de las Aguilas, 30 minutes. Or you can also connect from Mirador de los Condores around, making a loop, and come back from Mirador de las Aguilas this way. So from here we should have gotten a really nice view of Fitzroy and Cerro Torre, but the weather is really bad over there, and some people are hiking there even today and even camping in such a bad weather. And here you can see how we went up from El Chalten. We followed this road all the way up here through the valley to that crossroad and up here. Alright, so after about half an hour of hiking from the visitor center, we arrived to Mirador de los Condores, from which we got a really nice view of El Chalten and also the river Rio Fitzroy, and also the surrounding hills, which I don't know the names of. So it's kind of like steppes here, savannas. There are also great views of the cliffs near El Chalten, but as I said, we didn't get to see the Fitzroy because of the bad weather, and also we didn't see any condors. And here it says that condors don't have any predators except of humans, so you can see how big of an impact can humans have on other animals. So it was quite interesting to see how we're on the border between two different climates. So on the left you got a bad weather coming from Pacific over the mountains, so lots of rain, lots of clouds, but also more trees than on the other side. So El Chalten is pretty much like the border. You can see the clouds never go, or really rarely go, over the Chalten. And on the right side you have more like sunny weather, not much rain and not many trees either. It's more like a grasslands called steppes. So as I said before, from Mirador de los Condores we took another path connecting to Mirador de las Aguilas, making a loop, but this path is not really visible. It's only shown on maps.me, so you have to be careful with the paths and roads shown on maps.me because many of them are outdated and don't exist anymore, but this environment is like open and you can kind of see which direction you want to go. So I've never seen this before, only a few kilometers away and totally different climate, and the clouds just won't go here. So now we start to go more up towards this rocky hill, and the wind is blowing really strong here because you have no trees to protect you. Now the path got much more visible than in the beginning, and the Mirador de las Aguilas is not far from here, it's just over this hill. the true wonder of nature that these clouds will stay like this the whole day. They will not come towards us and they will not retreat to reveal more mountains. Now the path didn't go all the way to the top of the hill, it was only passing under it, so I decided to get up there and see what the view is. So from the top we got to see more stepas and also the Viedma lake, which is like the second biggest lake in Argentina. And I thought we're gonna see some condors flying around here because there are no people, but unfortunately we didn't see any condors. And be prepared for very strong winds, especially if you're on top of the hills. See, this mountain in front of us has a snow on it and it stays there all year long thanks to the Pacific influence. The temperatures there don't go above zero even in the summertime like right now, and we are hiking here in a t-shirt because the temperature here is around 15 to 20 degrees. So you see these hills with the snow on it always have some clouds around it. Okay, so the Mirador de las Aguilas is just down here and we can see more people here again who probably came the other way around. And Mirador de las Aguilas actually means the viewpoint of the eagles, but again we don't see even any birds here, and we're just joking that we could make in Slovakia the same like Mirador of deers, and you probably won't see deer even once there. But it just sounds like a cool name because animals are cool. So as you saw, we came up from here, from this hill, and this is the Mirador de las Aguilas, the view of the Viedma lake, and now we're gonna go back this way, making a loop. So up on this hill on the left we see some satellite station, but we don't see any hiking path up there, but it must be quite a good view from there. So here I'm showing how we made the loop. So we started down and went up around these hills, and then we connected here and went up on this hill, and also on the other one you can still see some people up there, and then down to the viewpoint. So it's the first time today we see some higher peaks, and I think this is a part of Fitzroy Massif. Alright, so we made the loop and we're back at the crossroad where you go to Mirador de los Condores, and it's a pretty short loop Takes less than 2 hours. And here we are at this information table on the way to Loma del Pliegue Tumbado Hill, which is 10 kilometers away, and you can also get to Laguna Toro this way, which is 15 kilometers away. But as I said before, for that hike you need to register at the National Park Information Office because you have to cross a river with a zip line. And then you can make a loop around through Paso del Viento, which takes another 3 days, I believe. So that's a real adventure, and I would maybe do it even with a guide for the first time. And we are almost back in El Chalten, and we have to prepare for tomorrow's big adventure, which is gonna be hiking the Fitzroy Loop. So you have to go to shop to stock up on the vegan food, and also we have to rent some sleeping bags because we're gonna be camping there. So it's gonna be one of the biggest adventures in South America. So you have to stay tuned for that. And for now, stay healthy and
stay adventurous.